Hello everybody, this is T with katescraftycloset, and here I'm going to show you today how I made this little thank you card. Like, thank you card is something I'm going to be making a lot of, but you can use any sentiment that you want with these cards. You don't necessarily have to use it as a thank you card. You can put happy birthday, a hello, salutations, greetings, whatever you want to do. So this is the card that we're going to be making today. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I went ahead and did is, I did use this MFT wonky stitched A2 size rectangle die to cut down this for the inside of our card. And I did do the same with the orange as well. And then with that, I went ahead and used this embossing folder. This is just a Floral Frenzy one. This is from Darice, which unfortunately is no longer in business, and you can't get this specific folder. We may already have it in your stash, but you can use any one that has a floral image on it in place of this. So I went ahead of time, and after I die cut it, I did run it through the embossing folder. So we got those, and then we did a top folding A2 size card using some black cardstock, which means that it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And while we're here, let's go ahead and put the inside panel in there, because since it's black, hard to write on. So we're just going to use some, this is just my art glitter glue. I'm going to do the best that I can to link everything that I use in the video in the description box below. If it's not specific, I'll do my best to add alternatives as well, just to give you something to go on. Okay, so this is a wonky stitch frame, and when I put it on, chances are it's going to be wonky, and I'm okay with that. I've come to terms with that. It's not going to be centered on here perfectly, or even semi-perfectly. So there we go. We got that. So the next thing, I went ahead and did is, I have this daisy die from quite some time ago. I don't know where this one came from, but I do have an alternative that I definitely will put in the group. So I just use white cardstock to cut out the layers of the daisy. So you see you have 3 different layers here. And then I use green cardstock to cut the leaves, and some yellow to cut the center, or as you want to call it, the stamen of the flower. Okay, so what I did is, in between the layers, I put foam tape on that to give it a little bit of dimension. That way it's not so flat. So we're just going to go ahead and use this pokey tool and put try to put the foam squares into the center of our flowers. Like, I'm trying to get it in the center because they're not always going to, each layer could be a little bit smaller than the previous one. So we just want to make sure that we have it, and it's really giving me some grief. Okay, so this one's going to go, this is not the largest one, this is the second largest one. We're going to try to put those petals in between the other ones that are already there. So, okay. And then we'll grab another foam square and we'll put it there. Peel off the backing. We'll have this one go on top of that one. And you can always fluff it up if you want to, depends on you. And then we'll just glue our, we'll actually wipe it off so we don't get all that oozing effect. And this is just this center of the flower. And we'll put that on there. So that completes our little flower. Too cute, huh? Put that to the side with our leaves, and then we'll come in with our panel. Actually, what we're going to do is, first we're going to find the top to our glue and put it back on there so it doesn't get any clogs and dry it up. First thing we're going to do is I always cut a whole bunch of these ahead of time. This is just a banner die that I picked up from MFT quite some time ago. So it may or may not be available. Like I said, I'll give you options. I'm going to put this in the stamping tool into that corner. And I decided to go ahead and use, this is from MFT called From the Heart. These are sentiments. And they have a thank you right there. So I went ahead. So we're going to go in and do our sentiment using that strip. And I have some powder off to the side here. I'm going to take like a paintbrush and put a little bit on that, and hopefully we don't get a lot of static and we can get a good impression. So it's in the corner. Come in with our Versamark ink pad, just lightly tap it, and then we'll bring it over. Because that powder is on there, you can see it on that black cardstock that the image transferred pretty good. Bring in our scrap sheet of paper. Going to grab my embossing powder. This is just some white from Ranger. You can use any color you want. All right. I'm going to tap that off and see how that powder makes a huge difference. And then we'll grab our reverse tweezers so I don't burn my fingers. Let's go ahead and put this back into the jar. Otherwise, I'll make a mess with that. Okay. And we'll come in with our heat tool, get it nice and warm. And make sure that it's nice and hot. And melt our embossing powder. Underneath as well. You see how it gets shinier. All right, perfect. For some reason, that's taking a little bit longer than it should. I'm gonna have to look into that. All right, so let's just bring in our panel. Like, you know, once that cools off a little bit, we can get that, what you call that? Evidently still has some stragglers on there, which I thought was flour, but powder. All right, we're just having one of those days today, and that's okay. So we're going to put, there's two different image sizes on here, but I'm going to put it where the stitch mark is showing better. So we're just going to put some foam squares on our panel. All right, it's like that stuff. Glue sticking to us and everything today. So you ever have one of those days that things just are not cooperative? Things are just not working? Yep, that's today for me. And I was like, you know what? I'll still put this video out. It's all good. All right, one more foam square. Well, 4 more technically. Okay. It's like, I'm not gonna bore you with that. Now I'm just gonna do my place it on here, see where I want it, and then make sure our sentiment and then our leaves. So I think I'm okay with the flower being there. So let's go ahead. I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue, not a whole lot, because I still gotta stick my leaves and my sentiment underneath that. So we're going to go ahead and do the sentiment, and then we'll do our leaves. Okay, so going to do that. We don't want it to stick out too far. Yeah, that's good. I like that one. Is it going to be straight? Probably not. Hold that for a second because it doesn't take long for our glue to grab. Then we'll have our 2 different leaves. And we're just going to glue that and tuck them under the flower petals. We have our other one. Okay, and then we'll tuck this one underneath that petal. And there we have it. And close up our glue. And then I would take those off the back, put a little glue on it, and then that will finish our card for today. So I want to thank you for joining me today. Make sure you check out the store at katescraftycloset.com. Like I said, I'll do my best to link all the products in the description box below. And thank you all. Have a crafty day, y'all.